Hi, Black Circle family, and we are back for another episode. And I'm welcoming Matthew Addai today. Welcome.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you for coming down on this very miserable day. Oh my God. But you made it. Thank you for joining.
No, thanks a lot for having me.
And I know we're going to kind of get into CashBlack and Afrofiliate and all the good stuff. But I think to contextualize the conversation, I just wanted to start with like your background, where it all started for you. So I know that it's like ex-professional trader and hedge fund PM. So do you want to paint the picture and take us through it?
Yeah, that's how far back do we go now? We're in 2024. So all right. So actual background. I wanted to work in finance for time. Like I wanted to do that whole like hedge fund trader, you know, like the sort of people that everyone hates now. Yeah, I wanted to be that guy. Where I had to do a master's degree in finance to be able to get it because my undergraduate business studies back at uni wasn't really enough to get me in where all like the maths people were, the physics, quants and all of that. So I did a master's in finance and then looked for work for time at the worst time to be looking for work because I was around 2008.
Yep. Oh, okay. Yes.
Everyone's getting let go from finance. So me trying to get in, it wasn't really happening. So did some trading for myself. Realized that sports trading, sports betting was a lot easier than financial trading like stocks, shares, gold and all of that. So I thought, I know more about Arsenal than I do about Forex. So, all right, let me do this for myself for a few years. Then eventually I went into a bookmaker, worked for them for a bit till I rose to the point of head of football. And then found a job. There was like maybe 3 hedge funds in the country at the time, maybe 3 or 4 hedge funds in the country, or like trading firms who traded on football. And I was like, being paid to bet on football was like the dream job. So I'd happily drop my salary to do that. Somehow I managed to land the job. After a year, I became a senior trader there. Like had my own portfolio. So it's like PM, like full blown like portfolio manager. It was decent. I'm even getting gassed thinking about it now. Where it was like my dream job. Literally go in, just like browse flash scores for most of the day, play some bets on football. If I win, I get paid. If I don't win, I get paid. So it was just, that was my job. That was my life. I was pretty much set for the future just doing that. It was great. Really, really enjoyed it. Really miss it somewhat just because it was, of course. Because it was just cool to be able to tell people, oh, where do you work? Because I work for a hedge fund. And it looks cooler than it actually is, even though it was cool for what it was. But as just like a background, as a backdrop in terms of just like storytelling and that, I really liked it for that. And in the literal aspect of it as well, just doing it. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Okay, so I've been watching Industry. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes, I am.
So how relatable is any truths, or does it mirror in any way?
A bit. I don't know if it's going to be a spoiler for you. I finished it.
Oh, no, don't spoil it.
Okay, cool. All right. So just started.
Spoil it for everybody listening.
Okay, cool. Well, they start off in a bank. Was it like Pierpoint or something?
Yeah.
They are just like bankers, like in terms of like an institutional company, like investment bank. Whereas, it's difficult without spoiling it. You'll see it sooner or later, but then outside of those, there's like private companies or asset management firms who do their own trading, and that's kind of where I was. But instead of trading on normal financial instruments, we're trading on sport, like betting on football. So
amazing.
That was the difference.
Yes, amazing. And I just like that kind of high pressure. Did you find that to be the case in that environment? Yeah.
It was insane, and it was almost like they like my boss really tried to fit the stereotype of it.
Okay. What way?
As in, like, just like a super like your archetypal, just really like high sprung, like aggressive, like do this, do that, just like that sort of boss, like a complete caricature of like just a super like intense, like hyper pressurized boss. I had that. But I didn't care because I loved the job. So it was almost like Stockholm syndrome or something where I was just...
It didn't feel like work, I guess.
I didn't... Well, for the first year, it was an absolute nightmare because it was like, well, I know Matt will work for free, so let's get him doing 100 hours a week. Wow. And I was very much like, not like yes master level or nothing, but I was it wasn't not to that level or anything, but it was very much like, I'm happy to be here and I enjoyed this job. So I'd be more than happy to like do all of this because ultimately I was where I wanted to be. Yeah. Like before that, when I was working or like other people I knew, they're just doing jobs for the sake of doing jobs. But I was doing something that I was just like, I really wanted this job. And so whatever happens, I'm going to be happy to be able to do it. And then second year, promoted to a senior trader. And then it was just like, I could almost like skip into work. It was so gassed at times to do it. And I was like really well paid for what it was as well.
Right, I can imagine. So it's interesting then. What kind of led you from where you were there to Cashback? So let's dig into like the origin story and what led you to that path.
My redundancy.
Right. Okay. Mic drop. Mic drop.
I was waiting for that. I was hoping, please ask in that way where I can say that.
Continue.
Yeah, whenever I say that, people either awkwardly laugh or just be, oh, I'm really sorry to hit that now. It's these things happen. So, like all things which are too good to be true, or like all good things that came to an end eventually, unfortunately. Company got sold to a trading firm called Blockchain Limited. Similar to Coinbase, and yeah, the company got sold, and I thought I was going to be like taken on to do like trading work for them, and then it was just like, nah, we're only taking like the maths people and all of that. So from time when I was doing that finance master's degree, I should have been really just doing my maths, doing physics, computer science, all of that. So I was basically just made redundant, and from then I very much just thought, let me trade for myself for a while, which I did, and I did well, but there's a limited lifespan in betting on football or betting on sport in general, because of the limited amount of liquidity. Liquidity being like how much money is available to like bet on sport and everything. So there's only like it's like a cap basically on how much I can make, particularly with how I traded. So I knew, in fact, even before that, I always knew that I was going to be doing something entrepreneurial one day. It's like so many of us, like I'm sure some of the guests you've had doing so, they started off maybe selling sweets in school or whatever. I did that, went into nightclub promoter at university, just doing like buying and selling dropshipping and stuff and that. And I was thinking that, yeah, you know what, I was always going to be doing something entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Why not now?
Right. So let's forward to 2020, because I know this is where the idea came about for CashBlack. And Afrofiliate at the same time?
Yeah, around about the same time.
About the same time.
Yeah.
So I know this is a project with you and your brothers, your co-founders.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk us through what was going on in 2020. Obviously, we know it was COVID, but
Yeah.
what was going on in the deeper sense for you guys?
Well, start of 2020, I was like, all right, I've done this whole year of trading. Now I want to very much take this time out to go on a bit of sabbatical. Teach myself all the things I didn't learn about in school, just do some like real like autodidacticism, I believe was a term I coined at the time, to really give myself a sense of how the world works. And then obviously like halfway through the year with the whole pandemic, the recession, and of course the global anti-racism movement, I feel like myself as well as everyone else got a better understanding of like how the world works. And I was already teaching myself about, well, just everything, as in like literally everything from the creation of the universe. Like it wasn't until a few years ago that I found out that the moon was like a part of the Earth, which was like clarted off by a comet, and then obviously spinning around gravity.
Again, today years old.
No, it's apparently it's like really obvious.
That?
That's the thing. I may have, I probably wasn't taught that, but I just thought, you know what, let me just teach myself everything from literally the creation of the universe to where we are now. And this is all up before the pandemic, so it was kind of interesting how I taught myself about every single life event up until the biggest life event like we've had like in our lifetime over the past century or whatever. So I was doing all of that, and then obviously everything happened with regards to like the like Black Lives Matter movement and everything, and I was already teaching myself why things were how they were with regards to like racism and its like impacts on us as a people. And just thought, like, why is it this bad for the global south or like disenfranchised people like all over the world? Like, what is the actual reason for it? Because I'd already taught, like I said, everything from slavery through to colonialism to like what happened in America with regards to like segregation, Jim Crow, and everything what happened here, like post Windrush, and like the like great migration of like West Africans into United Kingdom over the last like 30 years and everything. I'd learned about all of that, and I was trying to work out why things were how they were and what can be done to sort of change this. And in my research, as well as everyone else is firing out statistics and all that, I'm sure you remember Black Square Summer, where we all do. I mean, I was already there. I was very much already there. I think it was like Black Square Spring and before summer for me, Black Square, I suppose, previous winter as well. And what I found out through a lot of my research was that there's like a direct correlation between the lack of support for Black-owned businesses and the issues that we as a people face. And I thought that, there's this is like quite obvious, especially with like the like massive reinvigoration of supporting Black-owned businesses and supporting like minority corporations. And everyone else was catching up to what I already assumed to very much be the case. And yeah, like I said, looking for something to do entrepreneurially. I had like a long list, like notes app full of business ideas. Some good, some very good. Some I've seen on Dragon's Den since. I was like, oh yeah, that would have banged and that. So yeah, but like I said, look for something to do. My brothers and I were just like also during like lockdown had like someone to do nothing but like brainstorm. I thought that best way to try and fix these issues with regards to black-owned businesses and black people to find a way to incentivize patronage in black-owned businesses by having the black-owned businesses reinvest back into the patrons. So like we thought to ourselves, I don't know, how about a cashback website for black-owned businesses? Why don't we call it CashBlack?
Love it.
Yeah,
yes.
and what started off as a play on words, slowly turned into a tech company.
So do you want to just kind of like dig a little bit more into that? So you're saying it's cashback, but how does it work for those kind of interested in
Cool. Yeah. So like literally speaking, CashBlack's a platform that rewards members with cashback when they shop online with black-owned businesses. So let me see, literal example. Let's say you like, I don't know, Fenty Beauty, whatever. So if you wanted to buy like £100 worth of Fenty Beauty from us, if you made that purchase through CashBlack, Rihanna would give me, not really her, but nice name drop. Rihanna would give me, say like a 10% commission for doing so. If I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. So we made this purchase for you guys. So yeah, here's 10%, which is £10. And now at that affiliate commission, we half that with you as your cashback reward. So you get £5, we get £5. So that's how it works in terms of like the actual cashback from the affiliate commissions we receive. And then you can withdraw that for yourself to your bank or your PayPal or whatever. Or if you donate it to one of our affiliated goodwill causes, we match that donation 100%, meaning that when you give your share of your £5, we give ours as well.
Got it. And you said affiliate there as well. So for those, again, who aren't familiar with what affiliate marketing is or affiliate, what can you tell us about that?
Okay, cool. So an affiliate, in this instance, can be anyone who drives sales for an advertiser or retailer or a brand. So CashBlack is an affiliate. If you add a coupon code or whatever for like a business, then you would effectively be an affiliate of theirs where they're rewarding you for driving traffic to them, like very much a similar principle. And we didn't actually realize that at all. We didn't have a clue how cashback websites worked or whatever. We just thought it's a cool name, so let's turn it into a cool company. We didn't realize that in order to connect the black-owned businesses with all like the members and to like track the cashback and all of that, we had to connect to affiliate networks who'll be able to facilitate all of that for us. We thought it was just like a simple Shopify platform. We'll be done like a day, 2 days. We'll be out by Black History Month 2020. Light work. It wasn't light work.
Right. What were some of the challenges?
Boy. All right. Purely on like the technical side of the challenges, first and foremost, it just wasn't the simple Shopify WordPress thing. So we thought, all right, cool, let's build it ourselves. So obviously I work with my two younger brothers. Jonathan, the COO, my younger brother by 4 years, with a background in sales, he was able to like reach out to the different companies because like 2020, everyone was down to be on board. Like it was pretty easy in that regard. So just like sign up different companies, not necessarily signing them up, but at least collate them so that when we're ready to go live, it will be easy to get everyone on board. Nick, my youngest brother, he's 21 now. When we started, it would have been like 17 or so. He was looking to do computer science at university. So I was just like, okay, cool. You can obviously do the tech side of it. So yeah, build us the platform from scratch. And he did, in fairness. Like he built the whole thing as our like de facto CTO. I was already thinking, 17. 17, wow. Yeah, as in just like the website. And I was just like, oh wow, this is like pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, well done. We're good to go, right? It's like, okay, cool. Now how do we get this to work? And obviously it didn't. As good as it was in terms of just like what it looked like, we realized that, okay, we're going to need to now reach out to someone else to sort of like build us a real version of it. And so what did we do from then? We found a white label solution who was effectively just going to give us a basic cashback website, and you just put your own logo, your own colors and all of that and everything on it, and then you can go live with that. And we're like, all right, cool. But then it was super basic, and we really wanted more and more stuff on top of it, especially because we wanted it to be out by that Black History Month 2020, because I basically just always said Black History Month, Black History Month, Black History Month. So yeah, didn't get it done in time. And we kept asking for more stuff, and they were trying to either upsell us or just like not be responsive at all. So we thought, all right, fine, whatever. We've gone from us as development team number 1 through to development team number 2, and it was like, okay, cool, this clearly isn't working out. So yeah, let's find another route to actually getting this done, hopefully by next Black History Month. So after that, we went to a friend of a friend, or a family friend of a friend of mine, who promised that he could build the whole platform for us, custom built. And we thought, yeah, okay, cool, that's great. That's exactly what we want. Yeah. And like, I mean, obviously him being like, him being black as well, we just thought, okay, cool, it resonates with him. And obviously the idea of actually having a platform resonated with me. So I was just like, all right, cool, let's let's get this
Everyone
done.
wins.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, everyone wins. And around the time, I'd already like spent a load of money on actually like just like living for the past couple of years. So I was like, okay, it's probably best that we get this done. And all right, this is going to be the last amount of money I have, so I'm going to give it all to him because like, I'm not going to get screwed over by family, friends, or a friend or anything. And like everything's contracted out, and yeah, it's all good. It's going to be fine. So everything was paid for, checked in. I think once or twice, wasn't seeing too much progress. So I was just like, well, yeah, it's just one of those things that happens. Things just a bit slow to be done, and I was just ignoring like the red flags. Ridiculously, yeah. I mean, it happens.
It does happen. Yeah,
the red flags were there in the beginning because it was like him saying yes to everything was all well and good, but like by the time he actually showed me the project, the red flags start to make everything look like Trinidad Carnival. So it became super apparent that I wasn't going to get the project or my money back, which was like, wow.
So you wasn't going to get your money back either?
Nah.
This is the thing. I know, and I think this is tried and tested now. Everybody warns against working with people that you know, like in a friendship. Everybody kind of advises against it. Yeah. So I think there is definitely some truth there. So how did that progress? If you didn't get your money back, you didn't get the project, what happened?
Charge it to the game, didn't we? Charge it to the game, take the L. What do the kids call it now? Like ball up top? Yeah, ball up top. We had to just start again and just like we keep it moving and that. And yeah. So, yeah, we just had to, like, move on because ultimately it was just, we'll cry over it. I mean, what can be done? I mean, we have a contract. In time, maybe I could go back and, like, sue him into oblivion over it. But, I mean, that costs money.
Progress and you needed to get it going.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, like, there's stuff we could have done better on our end as well. So, accountability for the win. I mean, all right, let's move on. I mean, we still have half of my life savings left. So, I mean, we can still like pattern this by next Black History Month and then everything will be all good. So what was the focus to have it on Black History Month? What was the importance of that for you? Honestly, I'm a bit of a completionist.
Right.
And so if I say something, I really want to be able to get it done. Mm-hmm. So obviously it makes sense. Black History Month, CashBlack, clear as day synergy. Yeah. And it's just easy for like optics and like marketing perspective. But then also, if I've been saying something for years, or if I said something at least once, it's like I want to be able to stick to it, which is really, really hard. Because all during this time, I was going to like different events talking about this idea when all I had was like the landing page with a sign up thing, and the sign up thing didn't even work. So these times I was just talking about Cashback, and people must have been seeing me ask that Cashback guy, his mythical Cashback website where he's going to be paying people to shop with Black Up.
So do you feel like there was this external pressure, or was it this within yourself and you was like, okay, I really need to get this? It feels like maybe you kind of let the external pressure get to you a little bit. Of like,
but I mean, I don't think it was even that external, to be honest, because ultimately, like, do people really care that much? They've all got their own stuff. I'm going to a business event. They're all worried about their own businesses. Do you know, as much as I'm cool with all of them, I'm not going to be losing sleep over what another Black-owned business does. Unless they're affiliated with us, then it's obviously that tangible relationship between us. But ultimately, it was me who was hyper-obsessing over something which like I'd started and I really wanted to finish. And these setbacks meant I couldn't. So it was really, really difficult, really, really, really frustrating at the time. Like, mental health was in the mud throughout it. But, I mean, that can probably be said for most founders anyway. So it was just one of those things. That's what I said, like, just charge to the game. You have to just keep pushing through it.
I like the when you were saying, accountability and just kind of like you said, just charging through it. It's really important. So earlier you mentioned about the racial wealth gap. So how do you measure success in bridging the racial wealth gap through your platform?
I suppose the easiest way would be to basically just try and determine how much money is being spent with Black-owned businesses. So, once we realised that, okay, cool, Black-owned businesses are going from the SMEs they once were to being, like, closer to the M side of that. I suppose the small, medium, getting close to medium and large. Because we've seen it. We've seen, like, the big Black-owned businesses, like, spending, like, crazy amounts of marketing. Like, we see them more now on, like, being hyper visible on like Instagram, their sponsored posts, or even like TV and stuff through different initiatives that different major organizations are helping them to participate in. That's how we're able to measure it, when unfortunately they have more clout than they did before, when they start to get recognized by the like major publications as opposed to just like us. When they sort of like leave our ecosystem. Exactly. Exactly. When they almost become like adopted like external of like us as a people. That's the easiest way to measure it, because ultimately businesses, they don't really just want to be big businesses. They don't want to be just be big black-owned businesses. They want to be big businesses, because that using like yourself as like a big black-owned business is somewhat limiting in a way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which, especially in this country, like in America, it wouldn't be as like deep as that, because obviously the economy is like far bigger. Like there's much more spending power within the black dollar than there is in the black pound. So in this country, you measure it by just how far outside of our circle do they get. And like, fortunately, yeah, they're really, really breaking through, and they're serving as a huge inspiration for the rest of us.
And a good example of this is a previous guest, Puff Ministry. And they're it's a Nigerian food, but they have managed to kind of break through. So when you're saying that it's not just a black business, it's a business, they kind of really managed to make that lovely transition. And it's, people up and down the country from all different cultures and backgrounds. So that I'm just highlighting them as an example of what you're saying, because I think they really made a nice transition into that. And I think that's, like you're saying, for all of the black businesses. I know that sometimes we're quite niche and we cater specifically for us and the culture.
Yeah.
But like you said, the money kind of exists where we can broaden it across the UK, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you educate consumers on the socioeconomic importance of supporting black-owned businesses?
I suppose just firing off those statistics, because that's when you add an actual fact or figure to something, it helps to resonate a lot more. Mm-hmm. And so if you're telling them that like black people in the United Kingdom have a spending power of over £300 billion a year, but they're struggling to spend that money with black-owned businesses, then it makes you think, why are we struggling to spend it? Like, why don't we spend that money with like our own businesses? And that's specifically how it works for us. I would have thought it's not everyone is going to care. Fact of the matter is, I mean, it's if you have your own issues, you as a like potentially like a white working class man, if I told you that, it's like, why was that even remotely? Well, you know what I mean? Come close to even bothering me, it won't. So there's some people who just won't care, and there's nothing you can do about that. Ultimately, that's on them. So we only really focus on like, if it was preaching to the people who are actually at the congregation, people who actively want to listen, learn, and like help, not just black people, because not every black person even cares like that as well. So
that's also true.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes from allyship, which is like arguably more helpful, just because of this like number of black people in this country relative to like other races or other demographics. It's just it's just easier to speak to those who care wholesale rather than just us as a people.
And can you kind of explain, because I know I've heard about how quickly the black pound it leaves the community as opposed to like other communities. Can you just kind of like give a little bit of an explanation about?
No, because it's literally impossible.
Right.
I remember I've got a whiteboard at home. When we first started CashBlack, me and my brothers, we just like, it was almost like a Pinterest vision board where we had like loads of cutouts of all the stuff we wanted to like have done to it, like just loads of markings of just like everywhere. And we made it once, we barely touched it since. We've just been following it. And one of those things we wrote on it was how long does the dollar stay in the black community? Because that was a huge thing said at the time. And I remember Killer Mike's Netflix show, Trigger Warning, he mentioned it. And so I was like, that's a really cool statistic. Let me find out how long it does stay or the facts behind it. And I've researched. It's apparently impossible to measure, which is really annoying for me, because I really want, do you know what I mean? That's such a cool thing to say, but I don't want to like lie to you. There's like, no one knows, because it can't be judged. As in like, I remember saying like it stays in the community for an hour, but it is literally impossible to work that out, which is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go home and then find out again, just like, did I just lie to her? Did I just embarrass myself on the internet or anything?
It's just because it's a fact that I've been aware of. I don't know what the actual time period is. But like you said, it's always kind of been mentioned that this is it, you know, compared to the Jewish community.
Community. Like, I anecdotally, I reckon it's true. Or to like, to some extent, it doesn't stay within us as much. So I'm even just like walking to here, like Harlesden, I was like going past different like hair shops, and the black hair shops weren't owned by people with black hair and that. And I was just thinking, how long does the black power stay in the community? And I was like, oh, wait, I don't know. No one knows. Right. So it's like, I don't know. We might one day commission some sort of like research into this with a university who cares as much as we do, which like is really possible. Just it hasn't been done yet. And that would actually be a pretty cool thing to do if we were to be able to find out. In fact, that's going to be one of the things we're going to do. So I did write it, and I just haven't been able to answer it. So yeah, that's literally just reminded me that we need to find out how long.
I would love to know that.
Yeah, same.
I think it's important to know that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about corporate partners a little bit, and kind of like what role that they play in your mission, and how do you maintain alignment with them?
Well, the corporate partners I was laughing about this with my brothers this morning. We had a team meeting because we've been trying to do some more stuff with Deliveroo recently. They're one of our corporate partners. Just for context, we have like Etsy, eBay, and Amazon with whom we partner with to onboard all of their independent black retailers or black merchants on CashBlack, and also with Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Just Eat, so that you can order from black restaurants, takeaway providers and grocery stores directly through CashBlack, the website and mobile app. And in America, after we launched on Juneteenth, through DoorDash, Grubhub and Uber Eats out there as well. And yeah, we're laughing because when we first had the idea, it was still Black Square Summer. So we could easily just go up to like a affiliate network and be like, hi, can you tell us all the black-owned businesses you have? And they'd come back to us like, oh my God, we're so sorry, we don't know.
Right.
Because like that's because it's just a ridiculous ask. If you really contextualize it, like no one has that data. Like no one states their race or ethnicity when signing up. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I asked it. I was just being real, like, yeah, do you have it? And they were like super apologetic. And at the time, I was like, yeah, you know what? You guys messed up, but don't worry about it, which is nonsense for me as well, because you know that it was a crazy time for everyone, 2020. Because now I look back at it, like I can't ask that question anymore because no one cares anymore. So it's like, how many black owners? Like, why the hell? Why does it matter what color they are? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's a different time. The energy ain't the same. Exactly, the energy isn't the same. But when they did, when they did, it was a lot easier because like I could literally go up to, who was our first one we landed? In fact, Deliveroo was. And they were like, oh, it's black. Yeah, of course, we're on board. Uber Eats, they loved it so much. We actually had a couple of meetings about it where they just wanted to bring more and more people into the call. And I'd just be saying it. And it was just like, I was just saying what the company was. And they just loved the idea, you know, like liberal, like left-wing, like West Coast-based American, like corporate people, like just loved it. So it was easy with them. It was a bit harder with one or two. I think Just Eat took a while. Just Eat first and foremost said no. And because I've been getting so many yeses, Etsy was another one who said yes straight away. When Just Eat said no to us, I was like, huh? Everyone else is like, well, what's for you?
Not aware.
Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear, right? But I mean, eventually they onboarded as well, and the rest of them have. And in terms of keeping alignment with them, we kind of have to, I don't even know if I should be saying this. Oh, you know what? I'll start, so I'll finish. Almost not guilt trip them, but kind of remind them of their responsibilities in a way.
Yeah.
Because like it's basically saying to keep the same energy. Like we landed DoorDash the other day, and DoorDash was impossible to get hold of just because we didn't even know who the contact was. If you go through my LinkedIn, my sent folder is literally just filled with DoorDash employees because I was just asking them like, oh, is this person, is that the person, is this the person? Eventually I got them, and when I did send the email to the correct person, I made sure I said to them like, oh yeah, we'd love you to support because of your support of black-owned businesses, as you evidenced in your campaign when you platformed black-owned businesses back in 2021 that you wanted to support over $10,000 grant and that. So I'll kind of be like, oh, and they would be like, oh yeah, he got us there. Yeah, we have to get on board. Do you know what I mean? And I had to do that. I had to do that a few times. It's some weird corporate race card sort of pulling thing, and it works. So
it's just like you said that we were on such kind of like a wave and awareness back in 2020, 2021. To see the switch. It's just gone right in the other direction now, and we're looking at 2024, and it's such a short space of time. I know he's saying 3 years, but it's relatively short space of time, and it just feels like it was very trendy, I guess. I hate that, but that's what it felt like. And now the world's moved on, and now it's different causes which all deserve their own spotlight. But it's how I'm saying is how do we create momentum again. It's difficult. It feels like we've gone backwards. I don't know what your view on that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's if there was such a constellation, and this isn't a constellation at all because it's not really a good thing, but these things are cyclical.
Yes, yeah.
So 2020 decades, like 4 years prior, like around like halfway through the decade prior to that, you had, for instance, what the initial uprisings of the Black Lives Matter movement happened, and then obviously 5 years before that, around the turn of the millennium, there was like other things which happened before that. Like you can see, I'm not even trying. One thing I actually hate doing is like firing off the names of all the stuff happened. But if you can remember around the time, there was always stuff happening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 5 years before that, in the mid 1990s, there was stuff which happened like with regards to like black people in a particular part of the world, LA riots, etc. So there's always going to be something because it's cyclical. It's cyclical for everyone.
With that is, I don't want it to be off the back of trauma.
Yeah.
Which it always seems that it's happening. I don't want this big event to spark everybody's awareness. And so it's just like, this isn't a question, this is rhetorical, but what can we do to break that cycle? Yeah. And I think that's a bigger question.
It is a huge question. And it's frustrating for me because like it brings out the cynic in me because particularly in this country, we're not as mature in our like cohesion as a people compared to say America. Yeah. Where like America, they have a shared history of like 400 years of trauma being together and that. Like, do you know what I mean? From like literal slavery through, like I mentioned, through segregation, through Jim Crow, through civil rights movement to effectively where we are now. Like better, right? But I mean, it's better over the course of the 400 years. Whereas like us, like Black Britain, no, we don't have that. I mean, for better or worse, we don't necessarily have
a version of it because obviously the Caribbean,
of course,
that legacy of slavery. So and then that's carried over into culture and Caribbean culture. So we have it, but in a very different lens.
In a very different lens because like what, for example, like my like ancestors or my great grandparents, etc., would have like dealt with regards to colonialism, to like what my friends' family may have dealt with regards to like slavery in the Caribbean. That's still different to when you come here because ultimately we're only a few generations deep in the United Kingdom compared to in like America where it's like literal 400 years of like that level of cohesion where it's not a monolith but it's a hell of a lot more monolithic than we are. And so we don't have that that sort of like that level of togetherness that African Americans with. Black Britons, we don't have that. And the only time we do display that, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is when we use it as like a monolithic defense mechanism against racism, which is a shame, a huge shame, obviously, because I mean, why is it that we'd only be looking to support Black-owned businesses when like somebody's racially abused by like an Asian shop owner? There's loads of instances. I hate firing them off like that, but this like that's what I've seen. It might be the cynic in me, but that is very much how I've chosen to look at it over 4 years. Because again, as arrogant as it might sound, and as much as it might be my like main character syndrome coming out in saying this, but I've tried to keep the same energy. In fact, I really have, because I kind of have to. Me being a completionist I am. What I started in 2020, what my brothers and I started in 2020, we have to see it through. Yeah. So even if the rest of the world forgets that Black Lives Matter, I can't because I've mortgaged my future on like helping us as a people. Do you know what I mean? Which is, it's like just as a project, or as like a mission or like life work or goal or whatever. That's neither here nor there. It's just something that I started and I have to finish. And every now and then, I'm having the conversations with not just the corporate partners. Corporate partners, fair enough, they only have to care as far as their D&I budget will stretch them. Yeah. But when I speak to other Black-owned businesses about it or other Black people, and I'm reminded that, not only is it not 2020 still for the Amazons and eBays of the world, it also isn't for the Black-owned businesses and the Black people. So honestly, it is that instance where there is something to happen to remind us that racism exists, racism is bad, Black lives do matter, because but for that it's not that deep for people in this country like that.
It really isn't, and it's this constant like pushing against the tide, and I guess it can be it is exhausting, but Absolutely. We're doing very purposeful led work. Let's jump Absolutely. Let's jump back into kind of like affiliate marketing a little bit. So how effective has affiliate marketing been in helping Black-owned brands grow, and what key lessons have you learned?
I'd say it's quite important because of the fact of certain idiosyncrasies within Black people, in the sense that we love social capital, in the sense that we love word of mouth marketing, because we need that social proof.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I mean,
that trust that.
We do. If
you've tried it yourself?
exactly,
Okay,
X did it, Y did it, so Z might as well. So it's one of those ones where it's a no-brainer, and we found that even with us, the majority of our sign-ups have been from people who've told other people about it, and that's what gets it to work. And if, God forbid, someone has a bad experience with it, they'll keep that because, oh, my friend tried it, didn't like it, or I know a friend who got screwed over by a cashback website or whatever. So, do you know what I mean? That's for better or worse. That's kind of what we have to deal with, and it's good because affiliate marketing, particularly what we do with Afrofiliate, it enables anybody to become an affiliate or like a micro influencer, brand ambassador. It could be like a model with hundreds of thousands of followers, or like a WhatsApp auntie who likes like hair products or skincare products, whatever. Just throw it in the group chat, people purchase it, then auntie makes money, etc. So yeah, it's super helpful, and yeah, the only way is up in that regard when people become more aware of the potential behind it, because ultimately it is limitless in terms of how much money can be made through it, because effectively just like a sales force trying to like push people to buy products. And if they're products that you like, and if you as a brand owner, you want your customers to become your real brand ambassadors, your cheerleaders, which they are, otherwise they wouldn't keep coming back, then it's just a good way to support yourself while supporting them as well. So not only is it great in a capitalistic sense, but then it's also super helpful in a sense of benevolence and altruism, because you are ultimately helping not only your target market, but the rest of us as a culture.
I love that. And so I kind of want to talk about marketing strategies, inclusivity around that, because I know at the moment, and I don't know if you're recognizing this or you're seeing this, but there's a lot of kind of like rage baiting marketing. And it feels very purposeful. It tries to get like a reaction, and it, centered at race. So how can businesses create more inclusive marketing strategies that empower minority-owned brands?
I'd say speak to the people. If we're talking pure rage baiting, I don't know if, again, I don't really like bringing up stuff, but if I keep saying I don't like bringing up stuff, then I know someone watching might be, because he doesn't know stuff, or he might have forgotten stuff. No, it is not that. Like literally this week, you saw the Heinz thing.
Yes, exactly. And this is what sprung to mind.
Yeah, I knew it. I can see where you're going with that. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, the common consensus of that is that there were no Black people in the room when they brainstormed that one. And
do you think so, or just like
I don't know. I don't know, because
I mean, that's very possible. Yeah. But even if there were no Black people in the room, you think one person would be like, this looks a bit.
I was passively scrolling, rather than working like I should. I was passively scrolling through Twitter, and I saw it, and I was just like, that's not right. And I'm happy that I saw the picture before I saw the quote tweet of it, so it could inform my opinion for me. Yeah. So I saw it immediately, and I was like, that's a very weird looking photo. Well, and then I read the quote tweet about it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm not the only one who thinks this. And it was just like, okay, cool. This is going to catch fire. So it's on Twitter now. Maybe in a week or so, it'll reach LinkedIn and Facebook and that. So yeah, let me just scroll past this now and just let this one ride out rather than trying to like capitalize on it for clout or whatever. So I read it and I thought, yeah, it's bad. And it's so avoidable, but we're talking about it now. You know what I mean, this country and its like fetishization of baked beans, it's not going to do anything negatively to Heinz anyway. And they put out an apology relatively quickly, I think, which I don't know how contrite it looks, but it's one of those ones where I looked at this like, oh, okay, cool, that's I don't like the look of this, and other people are going to hate it more. I've got stuff to do, so I'm going to scroll past it knowing that it's not that deep for me, but I know everyone else is going to like have their own. Exactly, it's going to be a thing. Yeah. And then also was hyper cognizant of the fact that the discourse, it works, because ultimately they wanted people to see it. I only go infrequently on like the underground. Like I avoid London when like I don't really have to be there. So I haven't seen it in real life, but I've now seen it. So I mean,
have.
no, not in real life.
Okay,
I've only seen it.
Okay, right, yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I just randomly went.
Can't avoid it.
No. That's the thing. Like I was in London today. I didn't see anywhere. I don't even know if I would have seen. Maybe I'd have seen it. I may have noticed or whatever, and then just looked at what the brand was. Ultimately, the brand awareness works because like I was on Elon's app for like 5 minutes, and then it's like black people are doing the work and promoting it for him.
Yeah.
Outrage or not, it works, and it's annoying. So I looked at it. I didn't like it, and because I didn't like it, I don't hate share stuff. There are people who actively would see something, dislike it, and be like, "Oh, this makes me angry." Let me go show a bunch of other people to make them angry as I am.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, that's. Right. If there was a black person in the room, then they are an evil genius because it works. Because ultimately they've done that, and then they put out it could be a super contrite apology, like super apologetic, and genuine.
It's swept under the rug and it's forgotten about in the next news cycle.
Exactly.
This is what I'm saying. So how do we like empower black-owned brands and businesses to kind of empower them against this type of marketing?
Against it? That's hard because that is so emotive. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's so much psychology that goes into it. Some of it maybe even accidental, because I said about an evil genius could have done it, and they literally, because if you look in the bottom right corner of that picture, it said like based on a true story. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
In the bottom right corner, look at it when you get a chance. In the bottom right corner is of the advert said based on a true story. So there could be that instance where I'm a marketing nerd. Allow me.
That the plot thickens if it's based. But then, okay, if it's based on a true story, why that particular story? We could go down a rabbit hole. So that's,
Also, double check that in case it was photoshopped and AI's called me out. So in case that was the case, please feel free to cut this part out. But as far as I've seen, right, there could have been just like an innocent, like, that could have literally been someone's reality or whatever. But we've seen it, and then we've seen it as the black father in the home eraser, which, I mean, that's what it looked like to me immediately. It could have literally just been someone else. For all we know, that could have been based off a real photo where the father and the bride took the photo or whatever.
I know, we're kind of like projecting a lot onto it, but it's the immediate visual impact that it represents for so many people.
And that is hyper emotive. Yes, and that's ultimately what makes good marketing. It made you feel something, didn't it? It made me feel something. Didn't necessarily make me want to go buy ketchup when I think. Didn't make me not buy, like, I'm not going to buy like Morrison's brand or Sainsbury's brand. I'm sure I'm completely ruining your potential brand partnerships saying that, but do you know what I mean? It hasn't necessarily put me off finds where it was just like, I saw that, that's a bit insensitive, but what else is on Twitter today? So yeah, it's difficult to really do because, like I said, it's emotive. And so it's like for like brands like that, be they black owned or not, it's far be it from me to be able to tell them how to do their job, because ultimately it worked.
Yes, exactly.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and it seems to be like the new kind of marketing strategy, which is just Okay, so let's move on a bit more about tech. What technological innovations have been critical to your business model? And how do you see tech shaping the future of black-owned business support? All
right, cool. So, I mentioned we went on from development team number 3 into number 4. Development team number 4, we thought, all right, let's go back to the white label guys and let them upsell us to hell and back. We did the website, great. They offered us an app, even better. And on top of that, they offered us a browser extension, which we thought, this could be our technical game changer. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Honey.
No.
Right. All right. So Honey
for people listening.
For anyone who doesn't know, Honey is a browser extension which you plug in on like Google Chrome, or whatever. If you go on websites, it'll offer you like coupons or like cashback rewards. If you go on it, so if you go on Nike, it'll give you rewards for that and everything. So we thought that would be pretty cool for us. But people don't just randomly go on black-owned businesses like that and then find stuff. So we would need a way to maybe direct them to those black-owned businesses. So we thought, rather than giving you offers on like a Nike or whatever, we'll do it like the other way around. If you land on Nike, we'll take you somewhere else. So we thought to ourselves, all right, cool, this could be like our mascot or whatever. And our browser extensions, they bang, because Honey, that got sold in 2020 for $4 billion to PayPal. And we were like, yeah, we'll take like 1% of that.
Yeah.
Really nothing. So we got to thinking, how about, I don't know, the CashBlack, like BAT, like it'll be like a black alternative tracker. And we thought, BAT, a bit close to COVID. So yeah, for marketing sake, that won't really work. We thought, okay, how about a black, the CashBlack, like boat, the black owned alternative tracker, like boat, like slavery, black people is again a terrible sell. So moving on, we eventually thought, how about what do we call it? Or did I call it my favorite one? The black alternative solution tracking and redirection device. Okay. But if you spell that out, it wouldn't have been allowed into the Google Chrome store for profanity reason.
Okay, yes,
You'll work it out in your own
yeah,
time.
Yeah, I'm a bit slow.
So yeah, no worries. No, BASTARD. But anyway,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But then, so before, all right, cool. How about black owned tracker? All right, cool. But how do we make this blacker? So we need it to be smart. We need it to be somewhat Afrocentric. Why don't we call it the CashBlack Afrobot? On an algorithm for redirection of black-owned traffic, and it was literally like a light bulb moment, and we all just gassed over it and stuff. So effectively, what it is, if you land on Boots or Superdrug, The Body Shop, Sephora, the CashBlack Afrobot, our algorithm for redirection of black-owned traffic, will notify you of black-owned alternatives that exist and be able to take you to those stores for you to make your purchases of similar or even better black-owned products for you to earn cash back on that you could withdraw for yourself or donate to one of our affiliated goodwill causes where we match the donations 100%. So yeah, that's a load of AI will be like, it was still being implemented into it, because obviously you need to train the model so we can know that, okay, cool, this is a great replacement for, I don't know, hydrating hair mist or whatever from Boots. We know we can get it from this black-owned brand or that black-owned brand or whatever. And then for every other item on a minutia. And yeah, that's hyper important for us. And like, just to better answer your question, the role it plays, it makes us, from an optics perspective, it's a cool idea, if I do say so myself. So on the one hand, it is really good in how it works. But then when you look at it, like on the grand scheme of things, it's like super helpful for marginalized demographics from a technological perspective, because there'll be times where you may want to support a black-owned business instead of supporting like Boots or Superdrug or whatever. Or it could also be licensed and patented to other black-owned business, to other marginalized demographics. So we could have it as like a women's own bot, a Latinx bot, like a sustainable shopping business bot, etc. So yeah, the technical innovations we have, they're what helped us go from just a normal cashback website into an actual tech company. So super, super, super important, and that's pretty much the lifeblood of what we're doing.
Brilliant. And so just to kind of round out the conversation, so what steps should people take to connect with and support the black business ecosystem for your platform?
Literally Google CashBlack right at the top. That's SEO for you. Yeah, CashBlack HQ on Instagram, Facebook, X or Twitter, YouTube, CashBlack on LinkedIn, thankfully.
Afrofiliate?
Of course, and Afrofiliate, our affiliate network that connects black-owned brands with content creators and media houses, and it enables anyone to become an affiliate for black-owned brands. Afrofiliate across all platforms.
So Matthew, you're doing incredible things.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask what's next?
Boy, next. Hard launch in the USA. We've had a very stuttered soft launch post Juneteenth, where we're still trying to work on getting the Afrobot where it needs to be. Still having back and forth with the developers, somewhat passive aggressive, I'd say, more aggressive from my end than passive from theirs. But hopefully, all of our tech stuff will be like ready to go for that. And moving on, our immediate next step, hopefully, if we're able to get it done, will be CashBlack brick and mortar, which will be you being able to earn cash back on your debit or credit card directly from when you spend money at real life locations for black-owned businesses. So black-owned grocery stores, black-owned barbershops, black-owned salons, black-owned restaurants and bars. They're registered on CashBlack, which like they would be just because of the fact that we'll be incentivizing people like you to shop with them. You'll be able to earn cash back in real life straight away.
Amazing. And finally, to close out, do you have your values? So I always ask a value for professional life and a value for your personal life. So we can start with professional life. Just one word, doesn't need to be like, you can go in depth or as simple as you want.
Accountability. Because the buck always stops with me. Will always stop with me as an older brother, as a founder, as a black founder. I know I have to be hyper responsible for everything I do. So yeah, in my professional life, accountability.
Perfect. And for your personal life?
Personal life, I'd have to say compassion. Because I mean, last 4 years, almost 5 years now, my brothers and I, it's been an absolute madness. And I realized that as hard as it is for us, and it has been, like, I barely scratched the surface of how just like ridiculous most of the stuff really has been. I also need to be hyper aware of the fact that everyone goes through stuff. Like everyone thinks their burden is the heaviest. I think mine is, someone else will think theirs is, whatever. And I have to be hyper aware of the fact that other people are going through their own stuff as well. As much as I've been going through my stuff, I can't let that affect how I am with other people, like my personal life especially, because it's a long, lonely, solitary road being a founder, and it's as hard as it is for me, someone else might be going through other stuff. So just being mindful of what other people go through, just like caring about how other things affect other people, and just being compassionate towards them is something which like I always have to be considerate of in my personal life.
Accountability and compassion. I love those words.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And if people want to follow your particular journey, and I know you mentioned like the handles and things for CashBlack, but if they want to follow your particular journey, where can we find you?
I'm only on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So right now. I will set up an Instagram sooner or later. In fact, I'll probably just go home and do it today. I don't know. But yeah, my LinkedIn, linkedin.com/IN/Matty Addai, MATTYADDAI.
And do you want to give the CashBlack handles again?
CashBlack HQ across everything except for LinkedIn, where it's just CashBlack. And Afrofiliate, spelled exactly how you think it's spelled. No, it's actually quite difficult to spell. AFROFILIATE across all handles.
Amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time and educating and doing, as I said, very important work. And it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thanks a lot.
And guys, thank you so much again for joining us. And yeah, if you want to follow our journey, we're on Instagram on blackcircle.podcast, and we are on YouTube at Black Circle. Thank you guys.